Auburn football continues to make no friends on the recruiting trail in the 2024 class, especially with SEC schools. We've got a brand new commitment to talk about, a bit of a surprise. Let's talk about who that is and what it means for Hugh Freeze and Auburn football. War Eagle, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Kyle here at E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. As you're watching or listening today, be sure to drop a comment down below about this particular topic. We'd love to hear your thoughts as we're sharing ours. We do want to remind you of our friends at Alumni Hall. As an affiliate of theirs, we can attest to how great their options are when it comes to gearing up for Auburn game days, and it's very, very close. So make sure you go check them out. Visit them in store in Auburn, Opelika, or Huntsville. Or you can visit online by using our link in the description of this video, that very first link that's listed there. Check out their wide variety of gear for game day and any Auburn occasion. You will not be disappointed. The dust has barely settled on Big Cat Weekend, and still we are talking about dividends that are paying off because of that exciting event. Now, 1 week ago, we did have a commitment and a flip of Perry Thompson. We did a video about that one. Make sure you check it out if you have not done so for information on him and his commitment. For this video, though, we are talking about your latest athlete commit, probably a defensive back, Jalewis Solomon, who now makes it the 11th of the summer that has committed to Auburn, and also the 9th defensive commit of the summer thus far. Auburn had to beat out some major players in this one, including Florida State and South Carolina. More on that coming up in just a little bit. As always, let's talk about the timeline of events that brought us to the point of his commitment today. He actually started taking unofficial visits to Auburn early in 2022 as a sophomore. Now, I couldn't find anywhere when he officially got his offer from Auburn, but obviously he has one because he's committed to the Tigers. He did take unofficial visits in this spring and summer session, including Big Cat Weekend, and leading up to the weekend. And then after that is when things really started to take a turn. And even though a lot of people didn't expect the Tigers to get this commitment, here we sit today. Now that you know how he got here, let's talk about some facts that you need to know about Jalewis Solomon. He's considered a 3 to a 4-star athlete prospect from Ellaville, Georgia, and he played for Skelly County High School. I can't figure out how to pronounce it, so just please forgive me. You can see how it's written on his jersey in some of these pictures that we're showing on the screen now. His measurables are 6'1", roughly 6'1". Some people have him listed at 6 foot flat, 185 pounds. Even though he's listed as an athlete, most people are anticipating him playing defensive back, and probably cornerback, and those measurables do tend to line up with it. But I like the versatility that this guy is bringing to the table. Now let's back up some of those facts with some stats. We're going to be looking at his 2022 junior year in high school. Obviously some defensive stats, but we've got some others too to just give you a well-rounded picture of the athlete that he is. So offensive stats for him: he played wide receiver, 86 total passes caught for 1,210 yards. This is in one season, mind you, with 10 touchdowns. As a defensive back, 29 tackles, 4 pass breakups, and 3 interceptions. He's even been a participant on special teams and has taken a kickoff back for a touchdown. I got a bunch of storylines I want to talk about this guy. First of all is about Big Cat Weekend. I always stress that if you don't see the commitment that you were looking for during that event, or the particular numbers of commitments that you wanted, just wait a little bit and you might see a result like this. This is definitely a dividend from that weekend that has paid off. Let's talk about the South Carolina Gamecock fans. They are not well right now. This was their guy they thought they had, and obviously Jalewis shocked everybody, even Auburn Tiger fans in a lot of ways, by picking the Tigers. Just go look at some of their interactions online right now. A lot of people are also going to see this as a replacement for KJ Bolden, the 5-star defensive back athlete that a lot of people wanted, who ended up committing to Florida State. You could look at it that way, but frankly, I'm happy with who we got. And also, let's talk about family. There is a connection here at Auburn already. He is the brother of Zykevious Walker, who's currently here at Auburn, but his younger brother, Zayden Walker, who is going to be an athlete in the 2025 season and a highly regarded athlete, is obviously on the table too. So it's really interesting how this currently plays in Auburn and maybe plays into Auburn's future as well. Now that you know about the player, let's talk about what this means for Auburn football. We're going to start off by talking about the numbers of the 2024 class. This now brings us to 15 total commits, all from the high school ranks. 9 of those are on the defensive side of the ball, 5 defensive backs in total now, and 4 of them, if this is a position he plays, are cornerbacks. Now let's answer the question, what might his playing opportunities be when he arrives here on campus? And we always anticipate some red shirt for young players, but with an athlete like this, he might find some playing time early, even if it's just special teams, if he's as good an athlete as he seems like. But we'll look at the cornerback depth chart to better answer this question. You're losing guys like Nehemiah Pritchett, DJ James, even Jalen Simpson, who plays safety a lot. You might even lose a junior like Keontae Scott if he has a great year. That means next up there are guys like Champ Anthony, JD Rim, Kayan Lee, and several others, and that even brings into account the new guys in this class, Amon Lane, Jaden Lewis, and even Jalen Crawford. As you can see, there's a lot of talent exiting this year, but there is a lot of talent already stacked up that he's going to have to compete against. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. I always like to mention where these particular commitments come from because it means a lot in the recruiting game and creating recruiting pipelines. And we always talk about the key states for Auburn are, yes, Alabama, your home state, but the second most, and in some ways just as important, is your next door state of Georgia. This is only the second commitment from the state of Georgia in this class thus far, which is a little bit shocking at this point, although I'm glad that we've been taking care of Alabama so much. And even with this one being in Georgia, this one's very interesting to me because if you look on a map, Ellaville is not that far away from Columbus, Georgia, which is basically Auburn's backyard. So effectively, this is Auburn's backyard too. To me, it's not too much further than the distance to like Montgomery or something like that. So Auburn's taking care of Georgia and their backyard with this commitment. And finally, let's look at what this commitment could mean for the rest of the 2024 class, and even more specifically at the cornerback position, again, if that is where he plays. Right now, we have about 12 cornerbacks on the roster, and keep in mind that cornerbacks will also typically play the nickel position too. About 10 of those guys are the ones that I estimate are going to see the most likely playing time this season. If you break that down even further, you get into the area of 3 seniors, 1 junior, 2 sophomores, and 4 freshmen. And that even brings into account now the 4 cornerbacks that are going to be coming in with this year, including this commitment in the 2024 class. So if you look at the guys that you're losing at the senior level and even maybe a junior, you've effectively at cornerback, nickelback filled the vacant spots. So while I'm not going to say that we won't take a cornerback, it doesn't seem as likely as something like a safety. So the defensive back spot is still wide open for this class, but maybe just at safety. So that's my thoughts on your brand new commitment, Jalewis Solomon. Love to know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Make sure you do that to be part of that subscriber giveaway that ends at 4,000 subscribers. So hurry up if you haven't subscribed. That's part of the process and you need to take care of that. And lastly, check out those links in the description for ways that you can help support Alumni Hall and us here at E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. War Eagle.